Jabber. Jibber jab. Good evening, Melrosians the world over. I'm Tom Catalini.
I'm Sam Hammer. Oh.
Sam Hammer.
I'm Tom
Hammer. I like that. That's actually, that could be like a little handle. Sam Hammer.
New thing. Sam Hammer. And I'm Jen LeClaire.
And I'm Tom Shampoo. Here we go.
Oh my God. This is Let's Talk Melrose. Melrose, a show where Melrosians talk to Melrosians about Melrose, and none of it is jibber jabber, right, Tom?
None is jibber jabber.
Not one bit.
It's critical, vital, important information.
It is true. Oh my God, there's so much to talk about today. We have an awesome guest. There's a lot happening in the show. Tune in, stay tuned in, wake the neighbors, call the kids, turn up the dial. Here we go, right?
Make some popcorn, and we're gone.
Yeah.
So there's oh, sorry, Jen, you go
I was
ahead.
saying, get ready to be kind to one another.
Yes.
It's you guys start practicing, start warming up.
It's like the double mint gum.
Right.
Yeah.
How so?
You're going to be kind on 2 days this year.
Oh,
This is like,
Hey,
it takes
should
me
be kind.
it takes me 364 to wind up to be kind for the one day. Now
This
there's
is
gonna be
Melrose.
two.
We're kind every day. We're kind every day in Melrose.
Yeah, but I go next level. All right.
All
once a
right.
year.
Yes.
So,
We've had them
you
on
know-
before many times. The kindness folks are doing their thing again this year.
Mary
Right?
Beth and Stephanie. Yeah. So the whole community comes together, and our informal super Melrose holiday. It's a lot of fun. The LTMM team has their kindness marching orders, so to speak. So we'll be reporting and showing pictures and stuff of what we end up doing on Friday. I'm looking forward to the community coming together and celebrating and doing what we do best here in Melrose.
Yep. So the school holiday kind of day is Friday but the actual day is Sunday, the 20th. So be kind all weekend.
And that's throwing Tom way off. It's just too many days of kindness.
That's too much. Yeah.
Well, but it seems like we could use a little bit of kindness over in the school contract negotiations. Maybe there was another standout last night, right, Sam?
There was another standout. I was trying to upload video from last night. It was pretty much similar to the last time, just as crowded. A lot of families there. But we had 3 TV crews, and it was also covered by BUR. So now we're making the news again.
Yeah.
Not for something to be proud of necessarily, but it was pretty emotional. It was a city council meeting last night, though. So the folks who spoke were asking the city council to get involved to support the negotiations and contracts.
So the chair of the school committee released a statement just before we went on the air to the public, and I was browsing that, and there's just she sounds a little frustrated because she wanted to say that there was progress, but also a lot of stuff I guess can't be discussed publicly. There's a lot of confidentiality. She was fighting back against some of the talking points in the community about the $2.2 million being lost. And the override. So she touched all the third rails in the statement, without conveying a lot, unfortunately, just because I think of the circumstances of the situation. And the mayor even plugged in a bit saying, there is a limit, a cap to the taxes can only increase by 2.5%, Proposition 2.5. So there's going to be an additional, total of $2.2 million added to the budget next year already. 700,000 or 800,000 is just for healthcare costs going up. So I think they're trying to, make the point that they have some limitations that they're working within. So it's a difficult time, I would say.
Yeah. Yep. So there's another meeting tomorrow, so we'll see how it goes. Okay.
So I feel like I just want to pull back for a couple seconds here. I feel like we just jumped right into the news. We didn't have a news.
Oh, we didn't do the news thing. This
We
was
didn't do
supposed to
any-
be the banter.
We didn't have any
that was
banter.
heavy. That was heavy banter.
We went
Banter,
right
yeah.
into the heavy story here.
Really confused.
I wanted to ask what everyone's plans for Thanksgiving are. I want to find out how the weekend went. What happened?
There is no time for that, Tom.
No kidding. There's no time for that.
All right, it's time for the news.
I'll tell you, I had a North Shore weekend this weekend. It was great.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Saturday outside the entire day and night. It was fantastic. Are we? So are we? Do we want to find out about Tom's weekend, or are we going right into?
No,
it?
kid, I didn't do anything this weekend. I was raking leaves all weekend.
Anyway, extra. I just have to put a plug in for the newest publication to me anyway, but I think it's been around for a very long time. Yep. It's called Looking Ahead, and it is a monthly publication. I hope they don't run out of papers because they actually print it. It is the newsletter coming from the Milano Center.
Oh,
hey,
yes, I have this.
It is the best.
Yeah.
And,
is it really?
It really is. Most of the things we cannot participate in, however, but they have.
Is there an age?
It's making me look forward to it. Stacy Mancello calls this the bulletin.
It's amazing. They have day trips. They're going to Cracker Barrel and Tewksbury.
Oh, I love Cracker Barrel. What now? How come? What do you mean? How come I can't participate in that? Does it
soon,
say? Is
Tom, soon.
Well, I could just,
only a matter of time.
You know what? I'll find out from that paper, and I'll just show up.
Exercise classes, Wii bowling. It goes through it all. They're
Nice.
cooking lessons. Look at this.
Look at that. Well done.
Anyway, most of the things are not meant for us, but yet. But I'm so excited. This brought me so much joy. Looking ahead.
Yeah. Looking ahead. It makes
Excellent.
you
Looking ahead.
I'm looking forward to looking ahead.
Right. They're not. Wow, Jen, that was brilliant. You pulled that out of.
I'm done.
My drop. Fantastic. All right, good. Also in the news, we want to just mention again for folks who haven't been aware of this, there's a new police chief starting on December the 1st. His name is Kevin Fowler. I'm not quite sure if it's one or the other, but he lives here in Melrose. He's been living here for 18 years. He's 51 years old. He's from the Medford Police Department. He's been there for 27 years. So we look forward to welcoming the new chief of police and also wishing the best to Chief Lyle as he retires.
Yeah.
Yes. Awesome. And then in our regular publication, I made it all the way through and buried on page 10. The Melrose Police Department has a new mobile app. So I just downloaded it. I highly recommend
What
downloading
would I do with that?
What do you do with the app?
Okay. So it gives you push notifications for traffic.
Oh,
It'll send you messages about at-risk missing persons. You could get your overnight parking exemption. Send in public records requests. Anyway.
I've never had any. I've been living for 22 years. I've never needed any one of those things.
Yeah, I want to find out what they spent on this app.
Well, it did win.
Did it cost $2.2 million to create that by any chance?
Sam, also, by the way, just so you know, you cannot use the at-risk the missing persons feature to find out where Jess Dugan and I are on the weekend. That's not what that is for. I'm just.
Where's John Hammer?
Right
Where's John Hammer? Where's John Hammer?
He's third floor usually, or across the street. Challenge accepted.
John doesn't travel that far. He tends to not travel that. There's a few locations to check.
It did win the 2022 American In-House Design Award. It was created by the public relations firm John Guilfoyle, who I used to work with at City Hall in Boston. So congratulations.
Yeah, I don't know that name.
Small world.
Nice.
All right,
Talking about
very
small
good.
world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, small world. And some people are trying to make it kinder. Some people are trying to make sure everybody has a place to be for Thanksgiving and a good meal. Our friend Scott McCauley, friend of the show, one of the OGs in the interviews back in the studio back in the day, is doing the grab and go dinner again this year. And the reservations are made by calling McCauley's Vacuum at 781-662-7235. And what I love about this number is Scott will either pick up the phone or you'll call back later. That's it. Yeah. So there's no answering machine. There's no call waiting. None of that newfangled stuff. He's very old school. He's an awesome, awesome guy. Total pillar of the community. He's a historian of the community, and I'm so excited to see that Shane Egan has teamed up with him to kind of digitize some of that stuff, because Scott is not a tech guy. But for, oh my goodness, I want to say, I don't know the exact number, but it's probably like 30-ish years he's been hosting Thanksgivings, right up until the pandemic. And his main driver has been to get people together and have people have a place to be. There it is, right there, and looking ahead.
38th annual.
38.
Yeah.
Oh my
That's
God.
amazing.
Yeah,
38th. Oh
Let's
my
go.
goodness.
And
So
let's get that
anyway,
number one more time. No.
so I think 781-662-7235, and I think he's happy to provide the meals. A little disappointed maybe that it's not the gathering that he used to like to get people together, but he's an awesome guy, and
Hopefully so.
you should take advantage of that. Anybody who's looking for a meal on Thanksgiving, and a super awesome guy to check in with that day.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. And then right on the heels of that, we start to enter holiday season and holiday giving season. And so this is just a reminder that here in Melrose, we have the emergency fund, the mayor's emergency fund, that's set up for folks in need. If there's challenges with utility bills, or you or your family has kind of come into some temporary difficult times, that is available for you. So the rest of us as a community, we can donate annually to the emergency fund. There were some details in the Melrose Weekly News about it, and you can contact, it's run through the mayor's office, so you can contact City Hall, contact the mayor's office to find out how to donate to the emergency fund.
There you go.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, so fast.
Mhm.
Cool. And then, oh my gosh, it's not, we haven't been doing it for 38 years, but for the third year in a row,
35 to go.
your friends at Melrose Together have been coordinating the Give a Gobble meal kits, essentially meal bags for housing families. And we're still, I think people are still signing up.
Yeah.
Like over 100.
Yep. So drop off, if you put, I'll put the form and everything on there now, but basically you go shopping for all the pieces and
It's on the
sides
list.
and meat,
Shop
everything
the
on the list.
Yeah.
Plop it in a shopping bag and then drop it off at the temple on Thursday from 2 to 4. Our friends from Housing Families are actually going to be there to pick things up. So it's going to be really exciting. If you can't get there between 2 and 4 p.m. on a Thursday, totally fine. We have a few drop-off locations that you can get to beforehand. John, go to Tom's front porch. If you can't go shopping beforehand, head to Housing Families website, and there's a way to make a donation to the Melrose Together Fund. And those donations go to direct expenditures for those families. So directly for their electric bill or their phone bill. So if you can't go shopping, go to Melrose. It's also on the Melrose Together's page, but go to Housing Families and donate directly to the Melrose Together Fund. So all the things.
Fabulous.
Right.
Fabulous.
Okay.
Tom Shev, you got this next one?
Yeah, I mean it's a notice of the Amazing Grace basketball court dedication, which is going to be on the 17th, coming up. Which is 2 days, on Thursday. That's at 3:15 p.m. This is for Grace Zink, who passed away. When was it? A year ago, maybe?
No, it was a few years. It's been a few years
Yeah.
now.
A couple years. Yeah.
Yeah. She was in my daughter's class. She was a high school student.
Yeah. So this will be a dedication for the basketball court, which I think is a very, very nice honor for that, and a nice memory. So that's again, it's Thursday at 3:15 p.m.
She was a player on the Melrose United basketball team. She loved basketball. She was a great team player. Just a great high school, a great student. Missed, well loved and missed by her classmates. And she had a long time illness. So
Yeah. Thank you.
So this project came out. Remember, we talked about it a few years back. There was a $5,000 for a participatory budget competition with the high school students. So this was the project that won. And now with the participatory budgeting, like the $5,000 award connected with some ARPA funds, they've built the court and it's ready to be
Nice.
used. Yeah.
yeah.
Speaking of basketball balls.
Oh my God.
Time for sports ball with Jen LeClaire.
All right, everybody. In this week's episode, or this week's reporting of sports ball in Melrose, I'm told that the high school girls and boys soccer teams both are advancing in the playoffs, as well as the phenomenal girls volleyball team. I don't follow, shockingly, I don't follow the soccer teams as much, but I will say I do follow the girls volleyball a little bit, because that team for many years now has been fierce under the coaching of Scott Shelley. I think is how you pronounce his last name. A couple of my daughter's friends are on the team, and so I see Instagram pictures from their moms, and holy whatever, like those girls look fierce. It's great. It's great to see, and so congratulations to all of them. They are all those three teams are advancing in the playoffs.
Good job.
Right.
Wow.
Great.
Beautiful.
That was very sportsy.
I believed you actually like sport.
That was very sportsy.
So Jen
Right,
is more of the creative type. So you can see Jen and the newly formed Melrose Creative Alliance this Saturday at Parent U. There's going to be a table there. So Parent U is through with the Melrose Education Foundation. These phenomenal workshops are back in person. And the one I'm looking forward to is the one called Understanding the Budget, Why It Matters. And that'll be run by Mayor Paul Berger. So
Can I just push back against the stereotype here? So my daughter is an art major and on the tennis team at Salem State University. That's right. So those are not.
Not one or the other.
Let's do away with the old-timey stereotypes, please.
Both can be true.
Not
Both can be
Be
true.
a Catalini, yeah. Exactly.
I didn't imply any such thing.
It's all on the recording. Don't worry about it.
All right.
Anyway, Parent University.
Well, we have a guest. We have a guest to get to, so we should push ahead quickly. I'm sorry.
No, yeah. There, so Parent University. We started by saying about the Creative Alliance being there. There'll be tables of a lot of different organizations being there, and that they have I think over 8 different workshops that you can attend, including the budget one. So they always do a great job. It's always really informational and inspirational. So happy to be there this Saturday. Yeah.
Awesome.
That's how they describe this show: informational and inspirational.
And inspirational, yes. Those are things I've heard most. So 2 last quick things, and then we'll get to our guest. Speaking of Creative Alliance, if you want to find out more about some arts and cultural things going on in the community, kind of across the board, there is a newsletter that the Creative Alliance puts out. A couple other things coming up this weekend is Melrose Open Studios, the Open Studio Tour, which is a great thing. Artists from all over Melrose. There's a map that you can find on the Melrose Open Studios website, and then of course coming up right after that is everybody's favorite. We'll talk about it more next week, probably. Home for the Holidays with the Chamber of Commerce. Lots of cool stuff happening in our downtown businesses, and then also in the arts and creative and cultural sector for that whole weekend, December 2nd and 3rd. Okay.
All right. Ready for our guest? Here
I'm
we
ready.
go.
Hi.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
So last week we talked about how everybody should save the date for this Thursday coming up, 6:30 p.m. at the Milano Center,
Yes.
because
Yep.
you're a planner in our wonderful city in Melrose, and you're going to be hosting an open house to talk about our open space and recreation master plan.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, great. I got it all.
Yes, you got it all.
Thanks. All right. Good night. So tell us more about, so we have a master plan back from 2015. We talked about it last week on the show. And we have a map here coming up. But what sorts of things from this point, this is our 7-year action plan from back then. What can you talk about between what we did and planned for back then and where we are today?
Sure. So we've done a lot of things since 2015, a lot of things that weren't in the plan that sort of have been done, tangentially to the plan, but there have been playground updates. There have been an L Pond feasibility study was conducted, which is great. And there's a master plan that's ready, to be put into place sort of depending on funding. We've made great strides in new development that's mostly or all fossil fuel free. So we're really pushing for the green, sustainable developments. And let's see, what else have we accomplished? The city recently created a commission on disability and is studying how to make the city more accessible and ADA friendly, and Volunteer Park has just gone in, which is like a completely inclusive playground. So I think that we, have done a lot. There's always a lot to be done. And I think this sort of go around, we're really focusing on equity and how to make, sports more equitable at the high school. And of course, continuing with climate adaptation and just looking ahead to the next 7 years and where we want to be.
Could you give an example when you say make the sports more equitable at the high school as a city planner? What is that? What might that look like?
Yeah, so we've comprised a working group to sort of work on this plan with different officials from different departments and a couple community representatives. And one of the community representatives brought up the point that, field time and the way that, the sports, the different fields are allocated, just making that more transparent and putting a little bit more energy into, specifically, I think softball was one of the sports that was named as something that the city could be doing more to support the different teams. So from my perspective as a planner, our office has really been helping support sort of the push of this plan, but it really is such a group effort from the Parks Department and Joan Bell and, our community representatives and, our Department of Public Works. And so, my role is sort of to help facilitate and manage our conversations, but it really is such a joint effort between, many people that make all of our open spaces function.
Wow. Was there anything that you learned over the last 7-year period that you think will inform the next 7-year period?
Well, I wasn't here, so it would all be anecdotal, not from me, but
yeah, that's fine. We're all about anecdotes here, so that's okay.
I think that they're, I guess it's not entirely from open space, but I think the climate adaptation is going to be bigger now. So, and just thinking about where we were in 2015 and how some of maybe our approaches have changed when thinking about what it means to be, progressive and on top of it and kind of thinking forward. But I think in terms of public participation, we're in a really unique moment, sort of if we really are in post-pandemic. But I think one of the things we've learned just in the last couple of years is that there's a lot of different ways to participate. And so I think that we're, in a really good spot to hear from, as many people as possible as we sort of continue this process and have different ways to interact. So I think that that's one thing that doesn't necessarily relate to the open space plan, but, I'm looking forward to having folks participate in the way that they feel comfortable.
Great. But before we get into the specifics of the open house and the different ways that people can participate along the same lines as what Tom was saying. So climate and climate resiliency is something, you just mentioned is going to be sort of newer in this plan, or paid more attention to in this plan than we were thinking about or talking about in 2015. Also, a lot has changed because of and since COVID, in terms of like this desire for community gathering, and there was a big, it became apparent that there was a big need for safe outdoor gathering places
That's
for the
right.
community. And it, what started as like a necessity, like we have to be able to gather safely outside, now is something that people just want to continue.
Right.
So any thoughts about that? Like how is that going to be sort of looked at in the plan?
Oh, sure. So I think so I've only been in Melrose for a few months. I started in February, so I'm still sort of getting the lay of the land, but it sounds like the parklets are really popular. So, thinking about more, like you said, activation space, incorporating their desert.
Oh, you just broke up a little bit.
I think she just said 10 more parklets next year.
Yeah, I think we could fill in. Well, she's
I think
in.
she said encircling the beer garden is what she said.
Right, beer garden. I'm sure she was about to start talking about the beer garden.
Oh
no, I'll text her.
All right, well,
back. Yeah,
okay,
so
well, let's give people the information about the open house while we're waiting for Maya to come back. So the city is hosting the open house, where you can learn more about the open space and recreation planning. Hopefully she'll come back in. This Thursday at the Milano Center at 6:30. You'll be able to listen to, they'll give a brief presentation and ask some questions and share your thoughts. Here she is.
Hey, welcome
Sorry
back.
about that.
No problem.
So we just finished all the planning while you were
Okay,
gone.
perfect. Great.
No
Awesome.
worries. You can make other plans on Thursday night now.
That should be my strategy more often. Just shut down, have everyone do it, and then come back.
Yeah. It's great what we came up with.
Yeah. Oh, perfect. Can't wait to hear it.
Yes, it was 10 more parklets surrounding a beer garden, to be specific. So you mentioned that there was a working group, which is fantastic that community representatives are on there. Both Jen and I and others have been really interested in activating a lot of our open space for arts and culture activities. Is somebody on that working group an advocate or speaking to those things? And if not, we will all be there Thursday night to talk about it.
Yeah. I think it's always good to have, more voices. From our group right now, there are folks that I would definitely say are, passionate about the arts, and that's definitely something that they, bring to the table. So that's always a really great perspective to have. I will say I also went to go speak with one 8th grade group and 2 AP government classes, just to get their perspective. And, that was also something that was reiterated. So it seems like Melrose is definitely a place for the arts, which is really wonderful. And finding a way to kind of integrate that into our open spaces will be exciting. And I'm looking forward to your ideas.
Great, because that's another place we talk about equity as well with parks and space between intermixing between sports and sports activities and arts and culture activities. So
cultural and community gathering types of activities. Yeah, exactly. And to what extent does this plan? I know you've gone out to talk to the senior community, and you just mentioned some of the school groups and other groups that you're talking to. To what extent is this plan then also integrated with like the city's master plan and other sources of information? So the master plan has both parks and open space elements to it, but also there's information in the historic and cultural section of the master plan that talk about open spaces. So it kind of all interrelates. And then the Melrose Cultural Council also does a survey every year asking about what types of things should be prioritized in terms of their funding. And they find that a lot of that information comes back. Like we want to see more outdoor activities, outdoor concerts, outdoor movie nights, things like that. So to what extent does the planning and sort of for this initiative look at other holistic initiatives?
Yeah, I think that, each plan sort of has probably a more specific focus depending on sort of what its trying to accomplish. So I think that there is a lot of overlap. And I think, you know, specifically with the last open space plan and the master plan, and then this one, there, you know, there were some years in between. So you can sort of see, you know, how, you know, what was sort of different even within 2 years. Like the master plan was in 2017 and the open space plan was 2015, and now we're in 2022. So I think, you know, using other plans as a resource is really helpful. And also it's great to sort of have these plans come out, you know, at different times and intervals, because they can kind of work off of each other, and, you know, emphasize or elaborate on certain things that they'd like to see, and then sort of refocus that into, you know, the theme of the plan.
We got a lot of plans. That is heartening in a way, that there's a lot of people thinking long term, because I think everything we're talking about, right, has to have a different time horizon than we're used to. So if you want, you know, wheelchair accessibility on Main Street, like that has to be planned well in advance, and it affects the way that, you know, entrances are made to stores and sidewalk cutouts and all of these things. And so we're talking about parklets, and so it's all this long-term thinking, which, so I think it's great that we have all those plans. I'm curious, though, Maya, you haven't been here that long. You said you just got here in February. So where did you come from, and were you doing city planning someplace else?
Yeah, so the sort of short version is I grew up in Cambridge, Massachusetts, so not so far. And most recently I was in graduate school in Oregon, and I was doing my master's in public administration and policy. And I was working in a real estate development, you know, private organization, doing affordable housing development, and, you know, was really passionate about city planning, and kind of decided to change gears a bit, and came to Melrose. So I, you know, have done things sort of peripherally, but this is the first time I've really been in this role, and it's really great because you really get to tackle lots of different parts, and you're not, you know, pigeonholed, or you're not really just focused on one element. So it's been really wonderful to learn a lot, and it's been a great way to learn about the city, because I'm learning about all aspects. So it's been really fun.
So what are the top 10 things you love about Melrose so far? First
10.
impression. Let's go.
Oh my
Oh, whatever. 30, 40, was that too small? I'm just making it easy to pick. I don't know. What are the top of mind items about first impressions of Melrose on the positive side? What do you think we got going for us so far in this city?
I think people are really friendly, which is great. I think that there's sort of this small town vibe, but there's a lot going on, which is always really nice. It seems like the community is, you know, pretty close knit, and it's a great place to be a kid. It feels, you know, safe and sort of free, but you're really right on the commuter rail, so you're not isolated. You can go right into Boston, and yeah, it feels like people are pretty, you know, civically active, which is great. There's a lot of community involvement, so it seems, you know, all in all, like a very community oriented place.
Nice.
That's great.
That's what I think we're all hoping for, and it's glad to hear it echoed back. And then I guess quick follow-up question: how many episodes of LTMM have you caught up on so far since moving to town?
Was that part of the orientation? It's not part of the employee orientation. We're gonna have to talk to somebody about that.
Yeah.
I'll leave that to you.
I think the realtors in town should be like, you know, welcome to Melrose, and here's a
YouTube
package.
link.
Right. As part of your interview.
Sam, are we boring you? What's happening?
Oh my gosh. So Maya, at the open house on Thursday, one last quick question about that. What do participants expect? Presentation, question and answer? What's the format?
Yeah, so the event's going to be from 6:30 to 7:30 at Tierney Hall, which is right, I guess it's the second floor of the Senior Center. And we'll start with like a really brief presentation, and we'll have 6 different stations where folks will just go around the room we'll have a set of questions related to each goal from the 2015 plan. And our intent with this open house is to just get feedback on the last plan, what people liked, what we should include in the new plan. And then we'll workshop that and, have another type of community comment period. We don't quite know what that will look like yet, but this is sort of just for us to sort of know what we even want to put in the next plan. So it'll be pretty informal. People can, be there for an hour or they can be there for 20 minutes. And it's just, I think, a good opportunity. There will be most of the people from the working group will be there, so it'll be a good chance to ask your questions to folks, in different departments, and share your thoughts.
Great. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that was a great question, Jen, because this sounds like it's fun, like a little science fair, and I can go and mix and mingle like it's not a boring lecture. Like
Yeah, right. You won't be talked at too much.
Not
You
at
can
all,
have your
right.
Ideas heard. And
I'll be listened to.
You'll be
You'll
listened
be
to.
heard.
Well, you can leave the air horn at home probably. And it sounds like there's plenty of room, to your earlier point about sport. There's plenty of room for creativity and culture and nature and the sports ball.
All wrapped into one great
we have
package.
room for everything.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Nice.
Maya, thank you so much. It's great to meet
Thank
you. And
you.
we look forward to seeing you on Thursday.
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for
And-
coming on the show, and thanks for everything you're doing.
And I know we talked earlier about Scott McCauley and all of the history I don't know if you've ever been to his.
Is he at your house?
museum. No. No, but additionally, if you ever want to stop by, I do have, as I use for art,
Oh, yeah.
a 1934
Oh, right.
planning board map
Wow.
of parks and playgrounds.
Yeah.
And it's huge. I don't even know how far back.
It's like a school
it's like
map
a
that you
whole
pull
wall,
around.
yeah,
Yeah, it's like
right.
one of those.
It doesn't have a lot of space, but yeah, if you want to swing by, it's beautiful and
That's great.
a piece of history. We're kind of over in this area,
Mm.
but not as many parks, I think, as there are now.
Yes,
Right.
there are many now, but yeah, that's great. Where did you get that?
Facebook Marketplace.
Nice.
Some Melrosine had it. I happened to come upon it when we moved
Beautiful.
here, and
Sam,
it's huge.
how many beer gardens are in that 1934?
Right.
Well, I don't know beer,
Yeah.
but they do have whiskey pumps or whatever they're
Whiskey pumps. All right. I'll be over for that one. I want to see that.
I should.
Bathtub
Whis-
gin.
I think that's how you get the Samama is with the whiskey pump.
I should look to
Oh my
see down this way. It doesn't say there's Fells Station. I'm just looking to see if they have like the Converse building or the rubber factory.
Oh, yeah.
Right. But I don't really see it, but it gets pretty cool over there.
I have a 1935 map of the Fells, by the way. We should put those
Oh, you
together.
could put them together.
Yeah.
Oh, and we could do presentations at Thursday's event.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
dress in costume.
Well, you have to dress up as if it's like 1936. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Anyway, all right, we gotta go, guys.
We gotta go.
Well, that's
All right,
we
Maya.
have a plan.
Yeah.
Maya, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank
We'll-
you.
so much.
We'll see you on Thursday.
Sounds good. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
All
doing
right.
it. Thanks. Appreciate it.
And we'll see you around town.
Yeah.
Oh, she just hung up.
We forgot to tell her. The music sounds murky.